Hello all, we are here for NEET MDS preparation guide. As we all know, we are all NEET aspirants here. I'm one of them and I'm too preparing for the same as this is a very competitive exam. We need to prepare something well and something extraordinary to be successful. We all are maintaining that and we need to be maintaining the same thing. Here, Eden 2 is bringing us new opportunities and better guides here. One of the best and always bringing us the best. And here we bring another best from our side. Hello, everyone. Welcome, folks, to today's session. Hope I'm clear and audible. I'm your host for the day. With all immense pleasure and excitement, I'd like to bring in Dr. Achur Gerald, who will be joining us for the day for our discussion on NEET MDS preparation. Guys, we all need to be prepared very well. Not very well. We need to be precise and very much accurate with our preparations. Dr. Achur Gerald, specialist in periodontics and implantology, a committed professional with excellent skills and experience in teaching aspirants and graduates. She has been the college topper and has won many national and state awards for her expertise in the subject. She has been an excellent speaker in several scientific sessions and conferences, and also have been in several she have several publications on her name. She have also served in Dental Pulse Academy, Kottayam, and as a guest lecturer holding sessions on periodontology for aspiring entrance aspirants. And now here we have her introducing Dr. Achur Gerald as a preparation guide from Eden 2, yet again another renowned academician for her insights and valuable perspectives on NEET preparations and foresights. Handing over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Akshaya. Yeah, so hi all. A very warm good evening, one and all here. So let me once again welcome you all to this orientation session for NEET MDS preparation. I'm glad to see this many number. And if I'm not wrong, I suppose that most of you here would have just passed out from, just completed your part 2 exams and are sitting here with mixed emotions and feelings, more of happiness and relief that you got your exams over, and a bit of anxiety regarding the results, and also a little bit of uncertainty and doubts regarding the future path to be taken after your internship, right? So I understand it all. But anyways, since you are all here for this presentation, I assume that most of you have either partly or wholly made up your mind to take up that bold decision to advance your career in dentistry, to level it up, or to tag it short, to try being masters in our field. So I'm very much glad about it. And before moving on to the core contents of our topic of discussion, let me give you a brief introduction on myself. As Akshay have already introduced, I'm Dr. Achur Gerald. I'm consultant periodontist. I live in Kochi and have a great passion for teaching, and that's why I'm here. And in this session, I wouldn't be discussing anything that is too hefty for you to understand. It is more like a reminder, and it is more of tips and strategies and things which I have learned along my journey to grab that merit seat in MDS, and the lessons that I have learned and the mistakes that I've made, so that I think that would definitely benefit you all in your journey as you embark on this new journey towards NEET preparation. So to begin with, you can all see, I hope you can all see that person standing in the middle of multiple roads. There are a lot of roads and he's standing in the middle, and his hand gesture and that question mark above his head, it clearly tells us that he is confused about something, or he has some doubt. Maybe he doesn't know where to which path to be taken, how to proceed with. So now when I take this orientation class, I know most of you, or at least some of you, would be having the mental state of that person, like how to proceed with, where to begin, or where to go. So such questions and thoughts would be there in your mind. So I know there would be a category of students who would be thinking, why the need of MDS altogether? Is it all worth the pain and the effort that we take in for the preparation of MDS? And there would be yet another category of students who would be thinking, okay, I've just completed my part two exam, so let me sit back and relax for a while, and then I'll completely dedicate my next 1 year towards preparation and I'll crack it. So there would be that category. And yet another category of students who would be determined to go for MDS and give it a try, but confused and full of doubts and queries like what to read, how to proceed with, how much time to be dedicated, and all that. And yet, further, another category would be there who would be clouded with a lot of self limiting thoughts like, will I be able to do this? Am I capable enough to do this? So, will I be able to grab this ever? So, such thoughts would be there. So, in this session, we would discuss all these questions and queries one by one. Okay. So, first things first, why MDS? Why is it all worth the pain and the effort we take in for preparation for MDS, worth the struggle? Okay, worth in our life. So, if you ask me personally about it, I would say yes, because of the following reasons. First, since I'm now living in this outside world. I mean, by which I mean I've passed out in the year 2019. And so it's been like 6 or 7 years that I have been outside college practicing dentistry as a general dentist as well as a consultant periodontist. So what I have noticed now is that we are, unfortunately or fortunately, living in an era where only the masters in their respective fields thrive, excel, and succeed. So follow my words when I say only masters in their respective fields thrive, and those who thrive with consistency and hard work, they really do see success at the end of the tunnel. So when I said in the respective field. So don't get disheartened when you hear that only masters succeed. It is not only in the field of dentistry. The competition has grown so much in every field that it is a social pattern that only those who have enough skills in their hand, those who have mastered their skill, succeed in life. So, and I believe that our MDS degree is the first step towards mastering our field. And so it is totally worth it. So now consider another scenario when or if the fruits, you get your fruits of your labor. Look, you grab that merit seat in MDS after this, dedicating this year for the preparation. Then you get paid by the government for your master's degree, okay, as stipend, which is much more than what you get paid if you get into work after your BDS into any sector of dentistry. Like if you join a college for as tutor, or if you join a private clinic, if you join under somebody, or if you join a government sector. So the stipend you get for your MDS merit MDS seat is much more than what you can earn in any of these sectors. So that is a very wonderful scenario, right? So you get paid for your master's degree, and at the end of the day, you have your master's degree in your hand, which is a priceless feather to your crown. So again, that is another reason why which I advocate for it. And a third scenario where you are planning to go abroad. So consider if you are planning to go abroad to places like UAE, or places where our master's degree is valid. But then still you will have to face a licensing exam, which is very much similar to the NEET PG exam, but that we'll discuss later. But even if you clear those MOH, DHA, or whatever licensing exam that is presented to you uh, without any preparation, you will be competing with graduates who have masters in their hands, like already MDS graduates. So who will replace you very easily in any corporate or any job you apply to. So that again, having that MDS degree in your hand really adds on to your value there also. And moreover, this NEET PG exam preparation itself actually preps you a lot in your life journey and makes you fit to face any exam that you'll have to face in future. Because if you're planning to go to any other abroad places where our MDS is not valid, but still you will have to face those licensing exams, which is very much similar to NEET PG exam, or like which is tougher than NEET PG exam. But you should have that in-depth knowledge on all the subjects, and then only you will be able to work there. So what I would like to convey is utilize the time, and you have ample time in your hands since most of you are going into your internship. So utilize the time well, use it for preparation of NEET PG also, gain that in-depth knowledge, which will definitely help you out in the long run. So I think that first question, whether to go for this NEET PG entrance preparation, whether to try it out, whether to aim for MDS, is MDS worth the journey that we are leading, is answered now. So moving on to the next question, like when to start preparing for it. And for that question, my answer is right now. That is because of two main reasons. Now, as I've already told you, most of you have just written your part two exams and are waiting for the results. So moving on to internship. And this internship period is going to be the best year in your life, as well as this is the best year for your NEET preparation. Because uh, here during your internship, you have the freedom of time. You are no longer a student, but society and family still considers you as a student, and so you will not have any responsibilities. You don't have the responsibilities from the family or the society either, as well as you don't have the responsibilities or anxieties or tensions of a student. What are the tensions or anxieties of a student? Day-to-day exams, viva, record submission. You don't have all of it. So you have ample time in your hand just to focus on what you love to do. So if it is NEET MTS preparation, you have that entire time to focus on this NEET MTS preparation. You will have nobody to disturb you. That is a prime reason. And the second important reason is that being a fresher, you have all the concepts, whatever you read for your exams, everything fresh in your mind. So it is very much easier for you to cover up the old subjects. Your first round of revision preparation happens so fastly and quickly when compared to somebody who sit after a year or after so many years. I'm telling you this from my experience because I was somebody who took it light in my first year, and I sat for my preparation focused and determined for the next year. So this is the difference what I felt after I did that. So I don't want you to commit the same mistake. Start your preparation right now. This is the best time, okay, to do it. So that second question, when to start your preparation, I think that has also been answered now. Now to those who have already determined to start preparing for NEET MDS exam, but filled with doubts like how to study, what all to study, and how much time to be dedicated. So we'll come on to that. It is the core contents of today's presentation. So we'll come on to that. And what I have to tell you all is that such queries, such questions, everything, it's very normal and natural. Even the university don't get intimidated by them. Okay, even the university topper or rank holder will have those doubts, self-limiting thoughts in their mind. Okay, whether it is possible for me, am I able to crack it? Everything is there. Okay, I'm telling you, if you are somebody who cleared all your exams from first year to final year BDS, then you are also capable of doing this. Okay, only thing is that it requires certain discipline and qualities that you need to embrace along the journey to make it possible. So this questions, doubts, and queries, everything is quite normal and natural. So don't get intimidated by them. Know that only time and practice will clear these doubts. Only time and practice will make you fit enough to face that final lap of exam. So, what I need to advise you on this is plan prior, prepare for it well, and work for it with dedication, consistency, and self belief, which I think these three things are the keys to success in a life for any individual. Okay, when I said, I don't know if any of you have noticed, I didn't say work hard for it. I told work for it with consistency, dedication, and self belief. Because I believe that if you work for something with dedication, consistency, and self belief, then it not only turns out to be hard work, but also it turns out to be smart work. Okay, so with that, let me move on to the main topics of discussion. So, on code contents, let me brief you about the NEET MDS exam as well. Okay, so as most of you would be knowing, this is a national exam. This is conducted by NBE for admissions to all MDS colleges in India except for AIMS, and it usually happens once in a year. That will be in the months of December or January. And this is a computer-based exam with duration of 3 hours. And until now, that is, it started from 2017, this NEET pattern. And until 2024, the pattern was like 240 questions and 3 hours. This 240 questions was divided into two sections, section A for basic science and section B for dental subjects. And you know the marking scheme also, like four marks for the correct answers, and there would be negative marking of 1 mark if you mark it wrong. So this was how the pattern was until now, but it has been evolving over a period of time. For example, during the initial days, the number of repeats were very more, but now it has come down drastically. Like there are very few repeats that we get questions of repeats nowadays. And now they have include more of clinical scenarios, picture-based questions. So it has been evolving over time. And so next year, also we are expecting some change, which we'll be discussing soon. So this is the syllabus and subject-wise. There is no change for it. Unfortunately, we'll have to study and follow every subject that you have studied in your undergraduate level. Right from the basic science to all the dental subjects, every subject has got equal weightage. Like you cannot skip or omit any subject or any topic. Okay, so that has to be kept in mind. And about NEET MDS 2025 exam, we are expecting a change that NDZ has announced it to be a 4-sectioned exam. It will be an exam of 4 sections, which is divided into like maybe and we don't have yet an idea about the number of questions, but if we believe it to be like the older pattern, it is 240 questions. So it is like 50 to 60 questions per section. So and there will be a time for each section. That is 45 minutes for each section. So which is hardly a minute. It is much less than a minute to attend a question, actually. So the major disadvantage here or a biggest challenge here is that once after answering one section, after the prescribed time that is given for one section, say for section A, the computer screen automatically moves on to section B, and you are not allowed to revisit the section A or section B once it got lapsed. So, which is a great disadvantage or biggest change or challenge ever, which I feel, because earlier for the NEET MDS, we could sit back. What we used to do is we go through the questions and mark all the answers which we know thoroughly, and we just take a break and then sit back and relax and then attend those questions which we really don't know. So we had that luxury of time a bit. But if this new pattern comes into existence, this luxury won't be there. What it demands out of students is speed, stamina, constant speed, stamina, and alertness throughout the exam. And you're not allowed to go back to the previous sections also. So, what advice which I can give is that that means that you have to be thorough in everything. Like all the concepts must be thorough. You should be well versed in whatever you read. So more and more of practice is will only make you fit to appear for this exam. So in a way, your knowledge will be that in our subjects will be that thorough and that in depth. So don't worry about or don't get scared hearing all this. You have got sources to support you, and this is possible for anything. Nothing is impossible for anybody. That is the fact if we are ready to prepare for it. And so let's see how we can make this entire process easier. So to discuss those contents, I have subdivided it into 6 main headings. That is how to study, what to study, a timetable, like how can we form a more practical and how your timetable should be, and the importance of giving tests and importance of uh, being aware of all the timelines, and then the core concept of the entire preparation, not only for the NEET exam, but any exam, I think. It is read the concepts, understand the concept, make thorough about the concepts and make yourself thorough about the concept, then revise and repeat this process again and again until the last lap with consistency. So moving on to the first topic of discussion among the core contents, that is how to study. So moving on to how to study, I think most of the first and foremost doubts that would be pertaining to it would be like whether to read it in depth, whether I should follow only MCQ books or should I read textbooks also, that too all the pages of textbook should be learned. So such questions. So those questions I would be discussing as specific questions pertaining to NEET MDS. So before moving on to that, I would like to give you some general instructions which would help you out in your preparation journey. Okay, first and foremost thing about it is having a routine. I think it is very important to have a routine in our life, especially if you're a NEET MDS aspirant or if you're aspirant for any exam. And also in life, for making your life a successful one, it is important. When I say routine, at least you should have a fixed sleep routine, a fixed time that you go to sleep and a fixed time for you to wake up. The importance of that lies in the fact that only if you have a fixed sleep routine, then you know that how much time you have in your hand to dedicate it to something what you want to do or love to do, right? For a person who wakes up one day at 8 o'clock and another day at 6 o'clock, he doesn't know himself how much time he can dedicate in a day for something he wants to do. But if you wake up every day at 6 o'clock and go to bed at 11 o'clock, he knows clearly how many hours he have in his hand, so he can divide his time accordingly to all things what he wants to do. So there lies the importance of having a routine. And next, so once you have a routine, you can easily manage your time also. When it comes to time management, I'll move on to making a timetable. So every every student who aspires to prepare for NEET exam, who aspires to go for NEET exam and grab that merit seat, should have a timetable. Timetable is a must for all. That forms a base, that forms a foundation of your study, actually. So that timetable should be detailed also. and it should be practical. That is the most important thing. Practical in the sense, it should be customized also. You should not follow your friend's timetable. Not everybody can follow everything. So you have to know yourself and make a timetable of your own, which you are comfortable with following, and more importantly, which you can consistently follow, so that there will not be a break in the flow of study, which is very important. Because no matter how much hours you give in a on the first day, if you cannot give that much hours in the second day, definitely you will not reach the final lab. So what is important, even if you give only 4 hours of study on every day, that makes a difference. So consistency is what is important here, and that is the key to success. So make a practical timetable and which you can consistently follow. So it should definitely have break times, because we are all human beings. We are not robots. So like we are not machines. So like we cannot work like full like with full energy. So like we should have break time, otherwise anybody and everybody would get exhausted at the end of the day, because this is not something that will finish off in a month or two. You should be consistent for the next 6 months or 7 months until you face that final exam. So break times is very much important. And I want the timetable, I want you to make a month-wise timetable as well as a timetable for the days. Like, and I want you to break down your main goal into small achievable goals. When you prepare your timetable, the first thing you have to have in mind is the number of months left, the number of subjects to be covered. So you can, like, say, dedicate almost 10 days per subject. And for tougher subjects, maybe 15 days. And try framing that timetable and see if it would. And so frame a timetable month-wise, and then also day-wise, like dividing each hour of the day, like what you will do here, this time, that such day-wise timetable also is required. And make sure that even if you sit for less hours, the time which you invest towards studying is productive. That is what is important. And once you have prepared your timetable, I don't want you to always go and think about that final day of exam. Okay, I don't want you to get intimidated thinking about that final day of exam, how it is going to turn out to be. I don't want you to go and think about it even. Once the timetable is formed, then your target should be that single day in front of you. Finish off the topics and subjects you have planned for that single day. So you will feel contented and successful that, okay, I have done this, I have done what I have planned for. So you will feel that happiness, and that then there will be that boost of that confidence boost in you. So that is why I told you, break down your main goal into smaller achievable goals, so that each day will give you the confidence to move to next day and finally face the main exam. And finally, then when we talk about general instructions about distractions and stress breakers, it is important to have break times and dedicate that break time for stress breakers, like things which you would love to do or which gives you relief from the stress and the tension you have. It may be talking to a friend for some 10 or 15 minutes. It may be talking to a family member for 10 or 15 minutes, or going for a walk or some sport activity, or maybe some hobbies like reading or painting. I want you to have time for those things also, because you should feel and happy from inside, no? Like after 1 or 2 months, I don't want you to get exhausted. So I want you to maintain the consistency while you prepare for your NEET MDS. So which the stress breakers are very, very important. So I want you to do that. And about distractions, I know we are living in a world full of distractions, like especially social media, the phone, which we have in hand throughout 24/7. So I would advise you, if you are somebody who is who has difficulty in focusing and who is less determined, uninstall those apps like Instagram and Facebook, which are really bottomless pits, which I know once we start scrolling through them, we'll really lose our mind and we'll fall into the pit. So if you are less determined and like it's a hard to follow person, like I would really recommend you to uninstall those apps and instead download some other apps which would where you can hear music, or maybe you can listen to some stories, some motivational talks or podcast or anything like that, that you will have to find yourself. So that is all about how to study, general idea. We'll move on to the in-depth portion. Moving on to we'll move on to the subject wise and uh, how to main topics like pertaining to NEET MDS in the upcoming section. So this is a timetable which I had framed, which is convenient for me and comfortable for me to follow. But there are certain things which I would like to remind you from my timetable. So that is okay. I have put it at 6 o'clock. I wake up, which I think is a convenient time for all. So here you can see I have breaks in between. Okay, I have always breaks in between because I believe 20 minutes of time or like maximum 45 minutes of time is the attention span for a normal human being. But there are also people who can sit for hours. There is no doubt about it. For them, they can utilize that ability of yours. But after 45 minutes, most of you would need a break. So put that break for you. Okay. Uh, and also another thing which I have to tell you is coming on to the week, how you manage your days. I would like you to put a buffer day in between. And most app day, which I think is Sunday, because on Sundays you have ample time in your hand. Most of you would be interns, are going to be interns who will have to go to college. There is no other option, right? So Sundays you are literally free. So by meaning this buffer day, what I mean is on this buffer day, you should put aside some ample time unmarked with any activity or marked with no activity. Okay. Say for some 4 hours at least. And so that you can use this ample time to finish off the backlogs that have been created, okay, on the previous days of the week. Backlogs in the sense, as I've already told you, we are all humans. We sometimes may not be possible, it may not be possible for us to complete everything as we have planned, maybe because of our laziness or maybe because of our circumstances. So such backlogs we can finish off in this time, which was unmarked with any activity. Okay, because which is very important, because otherwise these backlogs get piled up and then you will lose the track. You will finally feel, oh my god, I have this much to complete, I couldn't complete even this much, and how am I going to face the exam? Such questions would come. So finishing off the backlogs is very important, and so having a buffer day is also very important. And another thing is which I would like to tell from my make you all a note of is like here I've mentioned wake up, drink a glass of hot water, prayer, meditation, or exercise. So this is something which I had been following for a while, a few months back, but I was not able to follow due to some personal reasons now. But what I have felt, why I feel this is important for you all, is because this drinking a glass of hot water soon after you wake up, or having that exercise or small exercise or meditation to keep your stress at bay, these are all very much important, because it is not only that you focus on studying, it is very important to keep yourself healthy and fit also, because what if you dedicate your entire time fully dedicated in studying and finally you fall sick? That shouldn't happen. So you should always indulge in activities that would help you to maintain that fitness and health. So I think such things also should be incorporated in your timetable. And here, this point is also very important. That is revision of the previous day topics, which I would cover in detail when we move on to the topic revision as such. I have put it there. So now, moving on to how the subject wise distribution should be, like how many subject we should study hand in hand. So when this month timetable, when you make the month's timetable, you should have in your mind the number of subjects you have to cover and also the number of months left for you, right? So then while you distribute the subjects for each month, I think at simultaneously you can handle 2 or 3 subjects. That is what has worked best for me. But I don't know for all. For some of you, it might not be possible. You might be a person who want to focus on one subject at a time and then finish it off and then go on to the next subject. But what advantage I felt when I did it like this is because I used to handle 2 subjects at least, or maybe 3 subjects which whose portions overlap together. So the advantage of it is you can make use of your time without break times. Break time is usually for what? To refresh your mind and head. When after reading a subject, or like say for 1 hour, that monotonicity is there with which we get fed up. So that is the reason why we take the break time. So after reading a subject for 1 hour, when we get bored, if we switch on to another subject, it is completely new and it refreshes our mind and brain. So you will be able to dedicate that 2 hours continuously for 2 different subjects. But in a way, you're completing your portions, right? So that is the main advantage which I felt when we study 2 subjects or 3 subjects hand in hand. And another advantage is that certain subjects, they can be connected and studied, and they have those portions overlapping each other. So in a way, revision is also happening simultaneously. You're reading one portion, the same portion is there in the next subject also. So you are again reading those questions, answering those questions. So the recollecting all what you have studied around it. So in a way, revision is happening. So how would you, which all subjects you have to study hand in hand? That is what we'll be discussing now. For that, I would call it a subject strategy. And I have 2 strategies for combining subjects. One is like you can either combine one easy subject with a hard subject. Uh, I'm quite sure that you all would be knowing the reason for it. So hard subject, when it comes to hard subject for any dental student, I think biochemistry and pharmacology is going to be hard subjects. And dental materials was hard for me because it has a lot of volatile content. So I always used to combine it with subjects which I loved. So like perio, physio, general anatomy, pathology, and all that. So this is a way of combining subjects. And yet another way, which I've already told you, those subjects which can be connected and studied, certain topics that overlap or may be connected. For example, oral medicine and oral path have a lot of topics overlapping each other. Even they have topics overlapping with perio. So these 3 subjects can be studied together. Even you have you can connect and study general anatomy and oral surgery. That's what I feel, because anatomy is all about nerves and blood vessels and glands and all those structures. And oral surgery also, we need to know where they are. So like when you read oral surgery, you have to recollect general anatomy portions also. And when it comes to pedo and ortho, they have got a lot of appliances and similar, and treatment plans similar. So like that, you can combine subjects that can be connected and studied. So that is the subject strategy which I would like to advise you on. So now moving on to what to study. So in what to study, what are the sources you have in hand when you prepare for NEET? You will have MCQ books, you will have textbooks, then those MCQ books will have synopsis, and then of course previous year papers. So these will be the main resources you have in your hand. So what I would suggest is, if you ask me how many books to be followed, how many MCQ books to be followed and all, I would say less is more. Don't go behind everything what you get. You focus on one single standard thing. That is more than enough. Okay. Like for example, every most of the people follow dental pulse. If you ask about me, I follow dental pulse and dentist also for certain topics. So like you should have one main MCQ book. That is what I always suggest for students who aspire for MTS. And also supplementary books are okay if you have ample time in your hand and if you have finished your first round of revision and all that, you can just move on to the next one. But don't forget the first MCQ book and the synopsis. That should be your base of preparation. Okay. Uh, so your MCQ book, that MCQ book will have synopsis. So what is the advantage of reading synopsis? So don't go and read the synopsis of every MCQ books available. You should stick on to the main MCQ book that you are following. Okay. So that synopsis will give you an idea about that overall about that subject, and also what are the topics that are important in that subject. And where comes, so now the question comes, where is the importance of textbooks then? Should I read a book after all? Yes, of course. You should have that one standard textbook for each subject beside you when you read that subject. Where is the importance is that? Already I have told, uh, NEET exam has been evolving over a period of time, and now it has come to that level that only 10 to 20 percentage of questions are repeats. That means only 10 to 20 questions come as repeats. Rest all questions are new questions, but with they revolve around the same concepts or topics which are frequently asked. So by doing only MCQ books or by attending only MCQ book synopsis and questions, you will only get used to those questions and answers. But what if to answer those new questions? So for that, your foundation and theory should be strong enough. And for that, you need your standard textbooks also. So that also I'm again and again stressing upon, you should have only one standard book on your side. And you pretty sure that you would be able to manage answering it. So, and one another main thing which I would say is make notes of whatever you read outside this standard or main MCQ book and synopsis, so that at the end of the preparation and during revision times, you will only have to look into your notes and MCQ book which you are following and the synopsis. So these should be the only things that you will have to look into. That time you should you have no time to go back to textbooks and sit and read. So again, if you ask me about textbooks, don't sit and read the entire chapter. You don't have time for it. Don't sit and read the all pages of it. And don't think that you will be able to gain in-depth knowledge about it altogether. That was not possible for anybody. But there are certain topics, there are certain contents which around which the questions revolve around. To know which are the topics and the content, you should be well versed with the previous year papers or the MCQ book questions. So you just read those contents and topics from the textbooks and then get thorough with it. There lies the importance of textbooks. But then you can ask, okay, you told that most of the questions are new nowadays. Then what is the use of doing the previous year papers? That is because, as I've already told you, now the scenario is like 10 to 20 questions, or rarely 10 to 30 questions come as repeats. But those 20 questions or 30 questions form the edge in the competition. They determine the edge in the competition. Actually, the actual exam itself begins only after those 20 questions or 30 questions, because anybody who prepares well for NEET MDS exam would be thorough with these repeats. So you shouldn't miss a mark there, okay, or you should not get a negative marking there. So there lies the importance of attending to previous year papers. There is another important aspect of attending papers or giving test. That is, you will get hang with the management, time management during exams. You have to solve this many questions in this particular time period. So for that, you will have to attend previous year papers and you will have to give as many tests as possible. So, and also remember, sorry, make sticky notes. Okay, make sticky notes of all those volatile contents like some values or dates and some names, authors, and all that, and stick it on all in front of you, like you constantly see, so that, believe me, it has really helped me in my both entrance exam as well as my PG last exam. Okay, I had done that, and seeing those things constantly will make an they remain stick into our head and brain and mind, whatever it is. So make those sticky notes whenever you read volatile content, and make notes of whatever information you get outside the main MCQ book and the synopsis in the main MCQ book. And now moving on to revision. So when I move on to revision, that is the core of your preparation. So you should, when you divide, when you frame your subject, when you frame your timetable, frame it in such a way that uh, all you cover all your subjects at least once, at least 2 to 3 times, 3 months ahead of your exam, so that you have that 2 to 3 months for your revision process, like revision one and revision two, or maybe three, depending on how quick you are. So that will really help you. And when I speak about revision on each day, what I stress upon, I would like to move on to my previous slide here. The initial, I had done this, the initial hours of your study, that is in a day, that when your mind and body and everything is so fresh, you dedicate it for revision of the previous day topics. I would stress on that point because it has got a lasting impact on retaining what you have studied. Okay, you actually, I have felt like you will retain those things forever. What I used to do was, if I've studied a topic on a day, the next day, soon after I wake up and I start studying, I used to study I do not study. I used to revise what I have studied the previous day. And when I say revise, I don't go through every page which I've studied. I just recollect all those things which I've studied in my mind. And then if I feel that, okay, I've missed some point, I look at the book. So that is how I used to study. So, and that had a really a great impact on retaining my things in my memory. So that I really advocate. And another important thing which I would like to tell you is one of the mistakes which I did in my initial days of preparation. That is, when you read your MCQ books or when you go through question answer things, if you don't know an answer, don't do the guesswork. I would recommend it very strongly, because if you do a guesswork and if that answer is wrong, and if even if you go back and read the concept and theory and get back to the right answer, that wrong answer will be there in your mind. And then, if suppose you don't get time to revise that thing, and when you go and sit for the exam, if the same question comes, you will get confused between that two options, that right answer and the wrong answer, which you accidentally marked in the beginning. That has happened with me. And I could understand that when I gave the unit test in the coaching center where I attended. And then I stopped that practice. What I used to do is that if I didn't know an answer for a particular question, I would either go back to synopsis or I would go directly to the main answer. And so that that main answer only will come to my mind. And then read the concept or theory and then see if this matches, so that it again get embedded in my mind. So, and then that is how it should be. You should never do a guesswork. That is what I personally feel. May not work for all, but I have felt it, it has got an impact during your preparation. And now moving on to the importance of giving test. I've already told you, it helps you to get used to exams, first of all, and helps you that with the time management during the exam, that number of questions for that particular time period, managing that, which is very important. And moreover, it helps you evaluate yourself, how much you have progressed, or evaluate yourself in the sense where I lack knowledge, where I need to focus more now on. So like such things you can evaluate only if you give test. So that is very important. Giving test during preparation is so important. So this is This is the same thing which I have already told you, but in a summarized version. That is, mark the exam dates. Not only the main exam, but also all the dates. If you are joining a coaching center, you have to mark all the unit test exams, grand exams, and monthly exam. All things should be marked in your calendar in different colors, maybe, and plan it in such a way that I've already told you. You finish off the entire portion at least once, 3 or 2 months ahead of your exam. And when if you ask me like how much time should I dedicate towards my study, for you interns, at least 4 to 5 hours. But make sure that these 4 or 5 hours that you are dedicating are productive enough. Okay, you are studying, you are not doing anything else. And then for people who are dedicating your entire 1 year for this, of course, you have to dedicate more time because you are sitting for this. So, like, you have to give more focus on. And when you divide your time, I would say use your active hours besides your the first active hours for revision, but then other active hours when you are fresh in your thoughts for new topics, and passive hours like when you feel really exhausted and you don't want to study at all, but use it for revision, okay, of previously studied subjects and topics. And important things to be remembered when you form the timetable: have buffer days, have break times. And uh, out of all this, what is important is it's not about forming the timetable, planning it ahead. It is following it strictly, okay, until the last lap. And I couldn't find a better picture than this to make you understand the importance of it. You all know, we all have studied, learned, I mean, have read this story of the tortoise and the rabbit. So this story actually tells us two important things in the situation we are facing. Okay, what it is: the consistency, steadiness. Slow and steady won the race there. Okay, so steadiness, consistency is what that matters. Okay, it's not about one's ability that matters. Who is able here? Who is able in terms of their ability to run? Of course, a rabbit. But who won the race? It is a tortoise. So for those who are sitting with self-limiting thoughts, that is the same thing which I would like to convey to you all. It is not about, it is, of course, you should be able enough, you should have that basic ability, but I'm sure that you all have that basic ability because you have passed all these exams, all this, right from your first standard until your final year. So I'm sure you all are able to do this also. But what matters is consistency and dedication and focus. So move with that. It is not your ability or your talent that matters. Consistency and steadiness is all that matters. So, and moving on to the final sessions of our discussion. So, if you ask me, like, should I join a coaching or can I study on my own? Both ways are fine, but what I would highly advocate joining a coaching, because especially in this current scenario where we have a lot of sources for information, different kinds of informations, so which are not always reliable. So we should always have that reliable source where we can go and rely support on. So a good coaching is always good, and it helps you really save a lot of time, because if you have a doubt in your question, if you have yeah, doubt in any of the question, you shouldn't always go and see all the, I mean, textbooks. You might not have that time, so you can just ask your mentor or guide for the same, and also to form notes, and also to tell you which are the topics of that are important. So you cannot go and sit for the first day of preparation itself, you cannot go through all the previous year papers, but these coaching institutions and the mentors there, they have been seeing these exams and the pattern for a long period of time, so they can definitely help you out at that. So having a coaching is always good if you are very sincere about your preparation, and it helps you save a lot of time. And platforms like Identu, how it helps is like they have actually, it provides everything at your fingertips. Okay, during my times, actually, we had to be present in a class in that specified time period. So during our internship and all, it was not possible. But now that online platform like Idento and all helps us to have it at our fingertips at our convenient time, which provides even that personal mentorship. They have this videos, live videos, as well as recorded videos, which you can watch at your convenience. Curated synopsis, which is really, really important. That synopsis has all the topics which are important to be covered. And the last but the most important part of it is test. The tests which they give. Okay, the unit test, the subject wise test, and the monthly, the test after each month, week, the daily test. So getting used to that test really preps you a lot to face that final exam. So I would just like to summarize my presentation. So where is the area to be focused? It is mainly you should have a timetable, stick on to it, read, revise, and repeat the process consistently until the last lap. So that is where success lies in. You will see success at the end of the tunnel. Definitely, you are going to have challenges in front of you, distractions in front of you, but stay focused. Understand that everybody has the same challenges in one way or the other. Okay, and nobody. There is, I think, there is everybody. Everyone who is going to face an exam will have those doubts. Even I, who was presenting in front of you, have that minute degree. Okay, will I be able to tell you everything what I want to tell you? So that minute doubt would be there in any person's mind. So don't get intimidated by all those self-limiting thoughts. Instead, embrace discipline, consistency, self-belief, and if you have all of it, you will be finally confident to face the exam. So don't think too much, start on it. First thing to do is to start on something which you think about. And then second is to continue. And finally, you will see the result about it. So dream big, stay motivated, stay healthy. So that's all about it. Thank you so much for listening to me all this while. All the very best to all NEET aspirants. I hope I have done justice to this orientation section and I have given you few insights and your day is not wasted. Thank you all. If you have any questions, yeah, you can mention it in the chat box. Um, and even if it's something that I don't know right now, I'll get back to you through the WhatsApp group or through the chat directly. So a lot of thank you messages. Thank you so much for listening to me. And I'm indeed glad that you're happy.